Hey book lovers, Kaylee here, and welcome back to the Enchanted Library. You might be wondering why I am using the camera like this, and I thought that I would try vlogging again today, because I am actually on my way out the door to go and visit the HarperCollins offices. So if you don't know who that is, HarperCollins is a publisher, and I'm going to their Canadian offices in Toronto today for their Frenzy Presents spring preview. And I'm going to talk about books with people. I'm going to hopefully meet some authors and see what's going on at their offices and what's coming up for books. So I'm going to try and get you guys as much footage as possible because I always find these things interesting. I'm going to be documenting things on my Instagram and possibly on Twitter as well, but I'm very excited to get going. Toronto is a couple hours away from me, so I do have to take a trek to get there, but I'm going to grab myself a Starbucks, a snack for the road, and what else? Oh, I've got my driving playlist ready as well, so I'm gonna have some music to listen to in case I'm not really feeling like listening to my podcasts. But I guess I'm gonna see you on the road. Okay, so I just stopped to get some gas at like partway there, and it started snowing. It's spring, Canada, come on. Alright, so it's probably a little dark to see me because I'm down in like a basement, but I found the place and I am parking, and it's like a maze down here. Like, this is a whole other world of parking. Like, I've never parked in such a crazy parking lot. But yes, I have made it successfully. I didn't really get lost, which is great. But yeah, I'm definitely not a city girl. But okay, so now I just have to find the place and head on up. I'm about a half hour early, so I've got some time to figure out where I am and where I'm gonna go. So it might be a little bit hard to hear me, but I have arrived and there's so many people, so much talking, and I'm really excited. Sweater from the costume shop. It makes me look like Daisy May. See, you're laughing. I think we're gonna be okay. I mean, we'll have to try a little harder and bend things to and fro to make this love as special as it was 5 years ago. I mean, you made it to Ohio. Who knows where else we can go? I think you're really gonna like the show. I'm pretty sure it doesn't suck. We're laughing and we're smiling by the river in Ohio, and you're Okay, so I just made it home safe and sound. First thing I did was brush my hair because it was super, super naughty, but I had so much fun at Frenzy Presents. The girls there were so great. They put on such a good event. There were snacks, there was drinks, there was tea, which you know I'm always game when there's tea. It was a lot of fun. And I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to order some dinner because I really don't feel like cooking after driving and all of that. And in the time that it takes for dinner to get here, I will go over everything for the event, and I got a goodie bag, so I will go through what is in that goodie bag. I have not peeked yet, so what you'll see is sort of like an unboxing, but it's like an unbagging. Okay, so I'm gonna just sit down and chat with you guys. I've been liking having these little floor chats, and then also the daylight is going, so I just set up lights really quickly, so I'm sorry if there's like odd shadows and all of that, but this is just going to be to chat you through the event. As you saw, I went to Toronto for the HarperCollins Frenzy Presents, which is the HarperCollins Publishing House YA edition, and they put this on usually about twice a year, once in the spring and then once in the fall, to let you know about what upcoming books are being featured at that time. And it was a really nice event. They actually started out when we got there. There was some snacks and some drinks and music going, and you got to take a look around the offices if you wanted to. Their views were insane. Like, I am afraid of heights, but even just being up there, it was really, really cool to just look around and see all of Toronto. And then once the team sort of came in and had a seat, they ran a little bit of a video going over what had happened at the last event and highlights of 2017, which was really fun to look at. A lot of the girls and people that were there for the event today were in those photos, so I could tell when I got there that there was a core group of people, because a lot of people had friends, and then when they were saying goodbye, I heard them say, "We'll see you at the next one." So it's a cool community. There were definitely more bloggers there than any sort of booktubers, so I think I might have been the only booktuber, so I was the only one really taking B-roll. Everybody else was taking pictures, and I took a few pictures as well, which you can see on my Instagram. But the atmosphere was great. The girls were great. It was nice, like I said, to see that video highlighting what was going on last year and a couple of things that they have upcoming. And then at the end, they sort of showed off the new logo for Frenzy, which was really, really sweet because it's a book with a little heart in it and it says Frenzy, and it's really nice. It's actually on the bag that I got as well. When I got there, it wasn't too difficult to find the actual location. I did need a GPS, but I found parking really easily, and it was very easy to get to the offices, so that was really, really nice because I get anxious. So that sort of helped alleviate things. And then when I left on my drive back, I don't really like the city, sort of going back into the anxiousness, so I ended up turning on some show tunes and sang the whole way back, so you got a little bit of that in the video as well, so I apologize for ruining people's ears. That's just how I drive because I just like to sing along in the car, and it's fun, so don't judge me. So books that are coming up, there are a ton of books. They gave us a little sheet with all of the different covers and everything on it, and then they took some time to go through each of the books and tell us what they're about and what to anticipate from them. So there were a few that I'm excited to get, and they're definitely added to my TBR. The third book that they touched on is actually the first book that I was getting really, really excited about. It's called The Diminished, and that is written by Kaitlyn Sage Patterson. And this actually sounds really, really cool. They described it as an imperial fantasy story, and basically you have a world where everyone is born, well, most people are born with a twin, and some people, the people who are born without a twin, are called singleborns, and they're not as common, but they are the only ones who can actually go and be part of sort of the ruling of the world. So if you're single-born, you can potentially become king or queen or what have you. For the twins though, if one of the twins dies, then the remaining twin becomes what's called the Diminished, which is the title of the story. So it's got these two types of people, and the twin, who is the Diminished, is a girl, and then the single-born, who is next in line to become ruler, is a boy, and they meet and their stories intertwine, and I just got really, really excited about that book because I think that that could be a really cool premise and a really cool idea, and I love fantasy, so Imperial Fantasy is a definite good for me. Next, we have Leah and the Offbeat, and that's by Becky Albertalli, and it's a companion book to Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda because Leah is actually one of Simon's best friends, and this is actually covering her story. So she has some drama of her own, some life choices of her own, all while trying to figure out love because she is actually bisexual, but she hasn't told anybody yet. So that is going to get such good press because Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda has taken over the world pretty much. So that is going to be, I think, the next big hit, and everybody in the room was super excited for Leah and the Offbeat, so I'm excited about it as well. The next book is actually a debut novel, and this one actually sounded really interesting to me as well. It's by Dana L. Davis, and it's called Tiffany Sly Lives Here Now. And it's about a girl who loses her mother and she has to live with this man who is her father. Her parents had been separated, she'd never met her father before, so she actually has to take the journey from Chicago to California where her father is. But the day before she leaves, another man comes to her door and tells her that she is actually his daughter. And so there's these two men, and he tells her that he's going to get a paternity test. It's going to take 7 days, but in the meantime, she still has to go to California to live with this other man who is supposedly her father. And so she is actually thrust into a world that is very different from where she grew up, and she's trying to learn about this man and become part of a family, but he has his own family already, and she's just trying to find her place within that family unit, all the while knowing in the back of her head that it could potentially all be taken away because in 7 days this other man is having that paternity test and he might end up being her father. And I'm really, really intrigued by it, and I feel like it's going to be one of those that sort of hits you in the feels. The next book is All of This Is True, with True crossed out. I'll put the cover next to me here, and that's by Lygia de Penaflor. I don't know, I have not read anything by her before, but this one covers 4 teens who plot to befriend their favorite YA author, and apparently it's a different type of format of book. It's like a book within a book, and there's a bit of a mystery psychological aspect of it because these girls, while they're trying to befriend their favorite YA author, the author is actually writing secrets about these girls, but they wouldn't have had any way of knowing, and it's just, yeah, all psychological. So I think I'm going to be picking that one up as well because that one sounds really cool, and the fact that it's sort of a book within a book and a different format with interviews and things like that seems like a really interesting idea. The next book here is actually one from an author that I have read, and that is Mindee Arnett. She wrote Avalon and Polaris, and she is coming out with Onyx and Ivory, which is a fantasy novel as opposed to sci-fi, which she has done in the past, and it is about a girl who ends up being called a traitor because her father did something, and now it's sort of going on to her, and she has to take care of herself, and to do so she has to work for like the mail system that's in this fantasy world, but she has to make sure that everything that she delivers during the day, because at night there are some creatures that come out, and I think they're called night drakes. But anyway, these creatures come out and they will kill people, and the reason that the main character, the one that we follow, is so good at her job is she can actually talk to beasts and animals. So while most people would get killed by these creatures, she can actually talk to them and sort of get her job done a little bit easier. So after doing this for a while, it turns out that these night drakes are actually killing people during the day now, and she sort of needs to figure out what's going on and why that's happening. The next book is a contemporary, and I definitely want to get this one because I feel like it's going to be really emotional but a really good story, and that is Invisible Ghost by Robyn Schneider. It's a book where the main character Rose, her best friend, is actually the ghost of her deceased brother, and it's all about her having sort of like anxiety around people, and using him as her best friend is kind of a crutch to let her not have to be in the real world, but she misses him desperately, so having him there really, really helps her, until the moment when she actually meets somebody, because her parents have told her to go into a club, or at least drama class, I believe it was, they said, and she meets a boy there. So it's all about her sort of transitioning from an introvert, sort of anxious person who only has the ghost of her brother to trying to come out and be more comfortable in the real world. And it's also about her having to let go of the memories of her brother while still holding on to those, but making room for this new guy that she's really interested in. So I feel like it's going to be a really, really emotional story, but I'm very excited to read it. I feel like I'm going to really relate to this character, and I need to prepare myself for that. But yes, that is another one that I want to get. The next one is Summer of Salt, and that is written by Katrina Leno. And the way that they described this one is the movie Practical Magic meets The Bone Gap. It really follows a family in this sort of touristy town, and all of the women in that family have some sort of magical ability, but it's not really well known. But one of the sisters does not have a gift. It hasn't made itself known yet. So she's sort of going through struggles of, why don't I have this gift? Am I going to get it? And also living in this little town. So I think that is another one that I want to get, and that is Summer of Salt. So I feel like that's going to be a good summery read. The next one is actually a retelling of an ancient Persian poem, I believe it was. I think it was poem. And that is called The Bird and the Blade by Megan Bannon. And this is all about a girl who is forced to serve an exiled prince, and it sounded really, really cool. So that is one that I am really hoping to get my hands on at some point, because I enjoy retellings when they're done well, and especially when it's something that I hadn't heard of before. So I'm not aware of this poem, so I think that it's going to be an interesting read, and I like that sort of genre. So apparently it reads like a fantasy, but it's historical fiction, and I'm pretty excited. Also because my Camp NaNoWriMo novel is historical fiction with a bit of mysticism in it, so I feel like this book would sort of help me out with my book. The next book is written by Lauren James, and it is called The Loneliest Girl in the Universe. And this one I'm super excited about. It is following this girl who is on her family's spaceship to Earth 2, I believe it is. And in the time that she's born on that ship, her family has died, so she has been living on the ship for years on her own. The only person that she communicates with is actually her therapist, and that's through instant messaging. Until another ship is due to sort of meet up with hers, and she's sort of figuring out if it's better to have been on her own and stay on her own, or to be with these other people. So that one I am super excited about, because I've actually been getting more and more into sci-fi. I've always enjoyed sci-fi, but I don't read enough of it. So this is like a sci-fi dealing with like anxiety and pressure and being alone and all of this stuff. So I am very, very game for this book. The next book they're sort of saying is like is sort of comedic. They're calling it humorous, but it's called Notes from My Captivity by Kathy Parks. And this is actually following a story where a girl and her father go out on this trip, and they're actually wanting to find a family of hermits. And in that time, she actually ends up getting held hostage. So the tagline, if I remember correctly, is girl meets boy and his family that's holding her hostage. So apparently it's supposed to be funny, but I feel like that could be kind of a thriller. But it's all in the woods. It's got some hermits in it. It's got some captivity and a bit of romance, I think. And she also befriends the sister. So I feel like this could go a million different ways. So I think that is another one that I need to get. So the next one is actually the first book in a series, and it's called Heart of Thorn, and that's by Bree Baryon, I believe it's pronounced, or Barton, sorry, Barton, Bree Barton. The type is a little bit hard to read there when it's small. And it is about a girl in a world where anybody born with magic is bad. Like, magic equals bad, and this girl is actually on a mission to find this one witch, I believe, I'm not sure if they're going to be called witches, but she's trying to find this one witch who murdered somebody, so she is on a mission to find her, and in the meantime she actually ends up being betrothed to the prince. But in this time, she actually finds that she has magic as well. So this is her trying to figure out what's going on with her life, and she's trying to find this bad witch, and turns out that she also has magic, and she's also betrothed to this prince, and he has to go on this journey with her. She kind of takes him along, but apparently she's a badass, and that is another one that I need to pick up. There's a lot of books from this list that just look so good. The third last book on this list is a retelling, and I feel like my friend Tara over at the Three Bookshelves, I think that she would be intrigued by this because it is a precursor story to The Little Mermaid, and it actually follows Ursula's story. It's about this girl, she loses her friend, and after years and years and years, she ends up finding her friend, well, someone who looks very much like her friend in that she is convinced is her friend, on a beach, and it turns out that she is a mermaid. I am pretty intrigued by it. I really enjoyed The Little Mermaid, but I'm not the biggest fan of Ursula, so I'm not sure if I'm going to like reading a backstory about her, but they're comparing it to Wicked, and I feel like the story is intriguing enough that I do want to pick it up. Might not be at the top of my list, but I feel like at some point I am going to have to read it, and that is Sea Witch by Sarah Henning. The last two are actually a couple of books that I had already heard about as well. The first one is Heretics Anonymous, and that's by Katie Henry. And this is about a boy who is an atheist, and he ends up going to a private school, which is a Catholic school. And he, obviously being an atheist, he doesn't believe in anything that they're saying, and he actually gets intrigued by this girl who is questioning a lot of the teachers and a lot of what they're teaching them. So he thinks that she is on the same side as him at being an atheist, so he gets very interested in her, but it turns out she actually wants to be a priest. So they meet in a series of events, and she ends up introducing him into her little group of people and friends that call themselves Heretics Anonymous, hence the name. So I feel like this could be a really fun little humorous story, and one that I feel like I can relate to, going to a Catholic school and all of that. Okay, so dinner got here way quicker, and I could not talk fast enough. The last book is actually one that I had heard about a while ago, and that is called These Rebel Waves, and that is by Sarah Rush. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it is it's the first book in a duology, and it's about pirates, and there's an LGBTQ romance in it, and apparently there's spies and secrets and needing to heal a fractured society, so that is another one that really intrigued me. Like I said, there are a lot of books that they talked about that I really want to read, so I'm excited to get into those, and let me know in the comments down below if any of these books sound interesting to you, or if you've added them to your TBR. And I guess what's next is getting into the unboxing. So we each got these cute tote bags. On the front it says, "Let's get literary," which I always love that saying. I think it's really cute. And then on the other side we have the new logo, which is the open book with the heart, and it says Frenzy on it. So I think that that is really cute. So the first thing I'm actually going to take out is the new hardcover book that they gave everybody and that we got to meet the author of, and that is Here So Far Away by Hadley Dyer. Now, I wanted to say it's pretty cool because Hadley was actually an editor over at HarperCollins, and she quit her job there to finish working on this book because she didn't have enough time while editing other books to work on her own. So she had quit her job at HarperCollins as an editor, wrote this book, and she ended up getting back with HarperCollins, but instead of being an editor, she was an author. So it was really cool to hear her story about that, and when I met her, she signed my book, and I asked her how it was going from being an editor to a writer, and if she was able to write without having her editor hat on, and she said that it is difficult to write and not think about the editing process, but she was still able to get the whole story out and put the editing side of things to the back of her mind, so then that way she could focus on the writing and then working with the editors to get everything coherent and good to go. And I am pretty excited about this book. It's a very interesting story that she says pulls from her own history in a way, because she grew up in the Maritimes and this takes place in the Maritimes. And I'm just going to read what the inside flap of the book says, because I feel like that's going to be the best way to get this across. George Warren is well aware that she's sometimes too tough for her own good. She didn't mean to make the hot new guy cry twice, and maybe she shouldn't have hit the school's mean girl in the face. George's loyalty and impulsiveness are what her friends love about her. They know she's got their backs. On the cusp of her senior year, though, everything starts to change. A fight with her best friend puts an irreparable rift in George's social circle. George's father can no longer work as a police officer, and the family's financial problems threaten her dream of going away for college. The year is turning out nothing like what George envisioned, but unfortunately, life's a bad writer. Then George meets Francis, an older guy who shares her name and her talent, because George is actually Francis, as her real name, but nobody calls her that. Then George meets Francis, an older guy who shares her name and her talent for sarcastic banter. In him, she, the queen of catch and release, has finally found someone she wants to hold on to, when lately it seems like she's only been pushing people away. And with him, she falls hard and recklessly in love in ways she never thought herself capable. In short, it's the year George nearly loses everything, including herself, in secret and utterly alone. With brilliant humor and heartbreaking truth, award-winning author Hadley Dyer tells a story of finding love and the road back from unthinkable loss. And this is going to be a summer read for sure. I feel like it's a beachy read, and I cannot wait to get into this book. So the first thing I see here is a box. What is this a box for? Ooh, okay. Can always use one of these. It's an external charger, and it's got Epic Reads on it. That is awesome. Oh, that's perfect. I can always use one of these. That is perfect. Right off the bat, that's great. What's next? Oh, something from David's Tea. Okay. So it has this cute little canvas bag, and it looks like there's some stuff inside, and it says, "Drink tea, be happy," which really is a mantra that I live by, because I'm obsessed with tea. Ooh, look, ooh. Got a bunch of tea. Organic Serenity Now, Forever Flawless Green Tea, an herbal infusion of Valerian Nights, Lemon Cayenne Cleanse, and that's a white tea. Last we have a Rooibos, and that is Organic Super Ginger. So it's like a little pouch of tea. Alright, I am a fan of this as well. Let's see, what else do we have? Pull this out. Is this more tea? Oh, it's more tea. Okay. Oh, I love this. Oh my god, okay, I love Robin Hood, like, absolutely love Robin Hood, and this tea is called Sherwood Forest, and I love that so, so much. It's from Riddle's Tea Shop and Curiosities, which I love the name, and the flavor is Earl Grey and Sweet Blueberry. Ooh, oh, and it's an Owl Crate exclusive. Yes, they did say that Owl Crate was giving us some stuff as well, so that is the tea that they gave us. Oh, I love that. Sherwood Forest. I love it. I don't want to use it, but it's Earl Grey and blueberry, so that's amazing. Okay, happy with that too. So far, this is a really good goodie bag. Let's pull something out. Oh, I think it's a button. It is a button. It is a Restore Me button for, obviously, the series by Tahara Mafi. I feel something flat. Oh, it's a sticker. Dumplin'. It's a dumplin' sticker. If you got it, flaunt it. I think I heard another button in there somewhere. Oh, this is for Monday's Not Coming. I feel a bag of something. Oh, what is this? Oh, it's a little owl. I thought it was an alien when I looked at it upside down. It's really cute. I like owls. Owls are cute. Oh, it's a luggage tag. Oh, that's very cute. I don't know if I would want to actually put this on luggage though, because I feel like it would get completely destroyed. I feel more flat things. Possibly more stickers, possibly a bookmark, maybe? Stickers, all right. So we have stickers that are based on Daughter of the Burning series by Amanda Foody, which is another book that I have on my TBR. Ooh, a promo code for an Owl Crate subscription to get 15% off, which is very, very good because I've been wanting to get Owl Crate for a while. Okay, so we've got 2 bookmarks. One has a few of the upcoming books on each side. So on the front we have Leah and the Offbeat, My Plain Jane, Monday's Not Coming, and Here So Far Away. And then on the other side, actually has a lot of the books that I want to read. Everlist, which I've actually already read, Onyx and Ivory, and Heart of Thorns and Warstorm. And then this is an Everlist bookmark. Okay, so this is Time is a Prison, She is the Key, which is the tagline for Everlist. So it has that on the front, and on the back it has every day, every hour I've given has been more than worth it. Oh, I feel something else. What do we got? Oh, she did say this too. So this is My Wick of Tea, Wizard's Drink. It's a candle. It's a Harry Potter themed candle. Butterscotch, creme brulee, and buttered rum. Can you guess? Yeah, butterbeer scented. Oh my god. That smells like pure butterscotch. Oh, that is a sweet one. I'm not usually a big fan of sickly sweet scents, but I feel like this will diffuse a little bit. And it's like a brownish butterscotchy color. Front looks like this. Not sure if you can see that. Very, very cute. I always love a good candle. I think that's everything, except for the books. So let's pull out the books. Ooh, okay. So, okay. One of the books is definitely one that I really wanted to read. The other one is actually, this one they didn't talk to us about. It's called Questions I Want to Ask You by Michelle Falkoff, author of Playlist for the Dead. So it's an ARC, and that comes out May 18th from the looks of it. I really like the cover. It's very contemporary. A mystery about family, secrets, and how to move forward when the past keeps pulling you back. Perfect for fans of David Arnold and Jeff Zettner. Patrick Walsh may not know where he's going in life, but he's happy where he is. Then, on his 18th birthday, a letter from his past changes everything. As Pac, which is Patrick's nickname, begins a journey to uncover the truth about his parents he thought he knew, the family he didn't know he had, and the future he never realized he wanted, he began to have a whole different understanding of his life and where he wants to go from here. Ooh, okay, that sounds like a very intense contemporary read. I'm excited. I'm going to be reading this. The next one is, the next two are ones that they spoke to us about. So the first one is Heretics Anonymous. Now they did, how did they describe this one? They described this one as kind of Breakfast Club meets the movie Saved, and that is a movie that stars Mandy Moore, which I watched ages ago. It might be due for a rewatch. Heretics Anonymous, and that is by Katie Henry. I am happy about that, because I was gonna get it anyway, so it's just great that I've got an arc of it. And the last book that I got in here is The Bird and the Blade by Megan Bennon. So that is the one that was based on that poem, so it's the historical fiction. I am very happy that I got this because this is one of the ones that intrigued me the most, so I am excited that I got this. Because in the bags, not everybody got the same books. It was sort of a mixture, so you didn't know necessarily what books you were going to get. And it's amazing that they gave us three books plus the new release of Here So Far Away by Hadley Dyer, and everything else that they gave us. It was amazing. They did such a good job putting on the event and being so kind and so sweet to everybody. One of the girls even took some time to take me around the new offices, so I got a little tour of the place, and it's such a fresh, new, clean office with massive floor-to-ceiling windows, and you could just get an amazing view of the city from there. It just looks like everybody has so much fun working there, and I am really excited to do more with them in the future. And I would like to give a huge thank you to everybody at HarperCollins and Frenzy Presents for inviting me and letting me come and join in the spring preview and taking the time to make such a great event for all of us bloggers and booktubers and bookstagrammers. It was a very fun time. The next event is at the end of August, I believe, so I will keep you guys posted if I'm going to be attending that. I really hope that I'll be able to. And then let me know, like I said, in the comments below if any of the books that I talked about are piquing your interest and being added to your TBR, and what you thought of the products that came in the little swag bag, because that was all very sweet. I am very excited to read all of those books, and I will be telling you guys my thoughts on them as I do read them. And I did want to actually just confirm for you guys questions I want to ask you. It's not May 18th, it's May 2018. Heretics Anonymous, and that comes out August this year, and then The Bird and the Blade comes out in June this year. And be sure to like and subscribe to my channel for more videos, because I put them out every weekend and I love to do them. And I totally did not make a tea. I was so excited to go through all of this stuff with you guys that I didn't make my tea. So I guess really all that's left to say is, until next time, keep reading.